Good Thursday morning. My day for COVID devotions has changed from Tuesday to Thursday to lessen Dr. B's workload on Thursdays. So, here we are, another week of COVID social distancing. The kids have been out of school 12 weeks now. Whew. This is a surprising time, and I'm surprised at how long this has been. Who would have thought in the 21st century the world would have been brought to its knees by the COVID pandemic? And I'm surprised at what has become important to me during this time of social distancing. All the things that I used to love to do before all of this, the freedoms that I had to go to the movies, to go out to eat, to go shopping anytime I wanted, they're not so important anymore. What has become important to me is my family, my two girls and their families, who I've not seen since Christmas, except on FaceTime. I miss my 4 grandchildren so much. I've been sending them COVID boxes with crafts and souvenirs from my trip to the Holy Land. Last week I sent them a COVID box of all kind of baked goods, but it's not the same. It's not the same as hugging them and loving on them. It's just not the same. I also miss being out with my friends and not worrying about social distancing and wearing a mask. But I especially miss being with my Winfrey Church family. And I can't wait until we can be together again. And now, our country is in turmoil over the racial divide that's existed for centuries. Pain, anger, and frustration abounds. What's the answer? How do we move forward? We move forward by what Jesus taught. Love. Love one another. And when I think of love, I think of God's greatest act of love for all of us, sending Jesus to experience life on this earth. Jesus knows our struggles. Jesus knows our emotions and our cares and our fears. This act was the greatest example of the selfless love of God. And when I think of this, it brought to mind a place that I visited in the Holy Land while I was on sabbatical, the Shepherd's Fields. Right here. This place is owned by the Franciscans, and it's a place that the Gospel of Luke tells us that the angel of God announced the birth of Jesus. There's a tent-shaped chapel of the angels there, designed by Italian architect Antonio Barluzzi. It's beautiful, and it's next to the remains of a 4th century church. Paintings in the chapel depict the angels' announcements to the shepherds paying homage to Jesus, and the shepherds celebrating the birth of the Messiah. Can you imagine how surprised the shepherds were when the angel appeared to them announcing Jesus' birth? Think about this. The angel's good news was not given to the noble or the pious, but to workers with a low reputation. Jewish literature ranked being a shepherd as among the most despised occupations of the time. But Jesus was to identify himself with this occupation when he called himself the Good Shepherd in John 10:11. As the lowest of the low, they were not used to attention of any kind. Yet, here an angel of God came to them, lowly shepherds, to announce the birth of God's Son. God truly surprised them by sending the angels to them on this special night. Thinking about being surprised, what has surprised you during this time of quarantine? Parents, are you surprised at how hard it's been to homeschool your children? Or how difficult it is to be patient and calm with your family members when you're together for 24/7? Single adults, are you surprised at how important your friends are? Are you staying in touch even though you can't be together? Adults, have you been surprised at how difficult it's been to maintain your productivity working from home? Or are you surprised at how comfortable you feel staying in your sweats all day? Senior adults, are you surprised at how much you miss your family members and friends? Not being able to be together physically has been extremely difficult. One thing I've been surprised at is how much I miss my church family. I look forward to the time when we can be physically together again as Winfrey Church. worshiping together, fellowshipping together, just being together. God surprised the shepherds so long ago. God can still surprise us today, too. As our pace of life has slowed down and all of the noise of our modern lives has lifted for a time, look for God's surprises. I've been surprised by the sights, sounds, and smells of nature. I've noticed how sweet the smell of spring has been this year. As I go for walks, I notice the different types of plants and their unique fragrances. And sitting on my patio, I actually notice the different types of birds that are coming to my feeders. And when I look up, I notice how clear the sky seems to be. Before COVID, I don't think I really slowed down enough to notice all of these things. And for someone like me, a type A personality, I've moved through over 30 years of ministry to children from season to season, program to program, activity to activity. As soon as one thing is over, I'm moving on to the next. This time of our church building being closed has caused me to slow down and focus on how to minister to our children and families in different ways. We've shifted our ministry emphasis from programming to creating new ways of ministering through the virtual presence on Facebook, through mailing curriculum packets and postcards to all of our individual children here at Winfrey, to emails, phone calls, and to researching information that will help us as we begin to explore opening our church back up in the future. Can't tell you how many Zoom calls and webinars I've been a part of as I search for the information. All of this doing things differently has truly surprised me and opened my eyes at how much I still need to learn. As we continue to slog through these days of social distancing, let us all be ready to be surprised by God. A good verse for us today is Psalm 90:14. It says, "Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all of our days." I want to do a little something that someone else on our staff does, kind of rewrite that a little bit. Listen to this. Surprise me, Lord, every morning with your constant and unfailing love, so we can sing for joy and be glad for the rest of our days. Let us all be examples of God's love today, and may we all be open to being surprised by God today.